What's up, guys, and welcome back to Wake Up Entertainment. So, during the cross-examination, Advocate Mshololo just couldn't let this question go, despite it being asked by other advocates, but she had to ask it, and in a sort of a different angle. Advocate Mshololo was questioning the forensic investigator sereo whether it is a standard procedure for a forensic analyst to collect an unsealed bag, then assign himself that bag for forensic analysis.
If the exhibit is received at the ballistic administration in an open seal bag, can that exhibit be accepted by the ballistic?
If it is brought by the investigating officer, it depends who is coming with that exhibit. If it comes via the investigating officer or the member of local criminal record center or their representatives, it will not be accepted.
In this case, the firearm that was examined in this case, or the firearm in question here, was booked out by an analyst, and he allocated himself this firearm to do the examination. Is that the procedure at the ballistic unit?
As I've already indicated,
Before the witness answers, I think it's important that the question be put in its proper perspective. I mean, just to merely say the exhibit was booked out by the analyst to be examined by himself without giving the background, that might give a wrong impression to the witness.
Should I proceed, my lord?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you answer my question, sir?
6.1 only motivates why he went to the station to fetch It only motivates why he had to fire additional tests. I have already explained that there will always be circumstances which come into existence that will prompt one to make a particular decision. As we don't live in a perfect world, the regulation is just there to provide guidelines, but it will never be able to cover all future or potential circumstances that may come into existence.
Okay. Thank you. Just one more question to...
So this is the reason why Advocate Mshololo had to ask this question, because we all know that Advocate Mshololo is representing accused number 5, that is Fisokuhle Ntuli. So that means that this unsealed bag, it has nothing to do with Mshololo's client, because the unsealed bag, it goes to Mthobisi Mncube. So the reason why Advocate Mshololo had to ask this question, it is because these issues are intertwined. If as a defense advocate, she manages to crack the case of this unsealed bag to accused number 3, then her client can be exonerated, because that is how the state presented this case. They sort of like intertwined everyone, these accused number 1 to 5. So that is why Advocate Mshololo had to ask this question, and it is a very good question, because she had to ask it so that she can fight for accused number 5. But the interesting part is that in asking this question of why Chris Mangena had to go himself to collect this unsealed bag, then assign himself to this unsealed bag so that you do the analysis, it's really crazy if you think about it. This whole situation is sort of like unsettled Advocate Baloyi, as you saw him there, quickly rising up with an objection. I could like clearly see that Advocate Baloyi did not like the question at all. So he had to feel like he had to come to the defense of the witness. But the good thing that actually came out of all of this is that Judge Ratha was having none of all of this, and he quickly let Advocate Baloyi away and allowed the Advocate Mshololo to continue asking the question. Because basically what Advocate Baloyi wanted was for this question by Advocate Mshololo to be rejected by Judge Ratha, but Judge Ratha accepted this question because it is very valid. So the strategy here that is being used by Advocate Mshololo, it is to try and cast doubt on the police and the prosecution's handling of this evidence, because it is very crucial in this criminal case. So now let's look at Sereo's response, because Sereo here was put in a very tough position, because Sereo wouldn't want to put his own colleague, that is Mangena, under the bus. And it's very clear, you could see that Sereo could actually see that what Mangena did was definitely unprocedural. But Sereo was now in a tough position, and this is why. Sereo just couldn't clearly stated that what Mangena did was wrong. He cannot say that because this is his own colleague, and he would sort of probably incriminating Mangena to say what he did was wrong. So what Sereo would want to do is to stand in a neutral position. And if Mangena is to be found guilty, then it has to be just himself. And Sereo would want to be a witness against Mangena. And at the same time, Sereo does not want to be a witness for Mangena, to stand for Mangena isn't supporting what he did. So you can see that this is a tough position, because you don't want to stand and supporting Mangena, because you can clearly see that this is unprocedural. How can you go and collect a firearm that is in an unsealed bag? So what Sereo actually did now was to just run around and answering the question, more of mumbling left, right, and center, but he just didn't answer the question. And probably Mshololo could see that, but she didn't press her any further. So in essence, it's actually good for Sereo, because he wants nothing to do with supporting or going against Mangena. So definitely this was a tough position for Sereo, and I didn't want anybody to be knocking on his door after the court proceedings and starting to be come on, Sereo, what kind of answering was that when you were in the court? This is your own workmate. So it's a tough position. You would want to be neutral and let these people deal with themselves. That is for Mangena to deal with his own problems without involving Sereo. So in essence, what can we learn or find out from all of this? And it is that this question of the unsealed bag, it definitely makes Advocate Baloyi to be uncomfortable. We definitely saw that. And by now, what is clear is that what Mangena did was definitely unprocedural, even though Judge Ratha has not come out and put to hit the hammer and say this is unprocedural what Mangena did. But for us and all of the analysis that we're doing, we can clearly see that what Mangena did was definitely unprocedural. But going forward, it seems Mangena is not going to face any professional implications for what he did, but he definitely learned a huge lesson. And the lesson that Mangena learned is that as a forensic investigator, he shouldn't be taking these cases personally and going to the police station to collect this evidence for himself without involving the other authorities that will be responsible for all of that. So it's a huge lesson for Mangena. So tell me what you think in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.